just to kind of, if I know for some people it's a big stretch to put these aliens in some sort of class with these biblical Danites that we're seeing symbolized best in the story of Samson. All y'all been to nursery school, or most of you have, sometime when you were a child, or you heard some of these Bible stories from somewhere. And then Samson's supposed to be this great strong guy with long hair, right? Well, this is what is connecting us to these aliens. Don't forget the Pleiadians and the long hair. Don't forget the connection with their supposed superpowers and their abilities. And that's the same thing that we saw with the connection with the demigods of the ancient past, and then how Samson connects to Gilgamesh, same character, demigod, Anunnaki, descendant of the sons of God of Genesis 6. I mean, that connection's there. You can't refute that. Now, here's going to be some more added support for at least connecting these Danites to these wondrous and awful aliens that we hear about. These aliens are supposed to have this high technology. They're supposed to have these amazing technological gifts. And once again, we're saying that these aliens in popular UFO theory, they say that they're in the poles. They say that they're in the earth. They say that they're under the ocean. Well, that's exactly what we see the Bible declares about these Danites. They've gone into the earth. And we see in Amos and Hosea, like I said, they've gone to the tops of the mountains. They've gone under the sea. They've gone to the stars. We've seen in Jeremiah where they've gone to Mars even. Okay? So they have made their nest. They've exalted themselves. They've tried to conceal themselves. And it's the same alien story that we're hearing where these alien bases are supposed to be hit on this world. Same thing. So the Bible is confirming the very same information that some researchers or independent researchers are uncovering and digging out of this UFO conspiracy. So for you UFO guys out there, I mean, this is who your UFO people are. This is who your UFO guys are flying around in these crazy crafts, this high technology. Here's going to be some scriptural proof of that. Now, we just said that the UFO guys are in the earth. They're in the poles. And I've already showed you that we're seeing connection for this abyss being at the North Pole, and we're seeing it being connected, being covered with ice. I mean, okay, that's the North Pole. Listen to these verses right here. Knowest thou it because thou wast then born, or because the number of thy days is great? Hast thou entered into the treasures of the snow, or hast thou seen the treasures of the hail, which I have reserved against the time of trouble, against the day of battle and war? All right. This is chapter 38, Job. This is where we found that talk about canst thou bind the sweet influences of the Pleiades, loose the bands of Orion. It's the same chapter. All of this is about the abyss at the North Pole. Every last bit of this chapter is. I've just realized that within the last probably hour here and looking at this thing very deeply, and man, I could do a big time video on this, and I urge anybody to look at it and reflect on what I'm trying to share with you, and you're going to see it here. Well, with that mode of thinking, when you hear line 21, he's saying, Job, or Jehovah is saying to Job, he says, knowest thou it because thou wast then born? He's talking about this abyss. Where is the place of this abyss? Listen. Hast thou entered into the springs of the sea, or hast thou walked in the search of the depth? The depths. Have the gates of death been opened unto thee, or hast thou seen the doors of the shadow of death? Hast thou perceived the breadth of the earth? Declare if thou know it. Now, don't be thinking about the breadth of the earth equatorial. We need to be thinking up and down, from north to south pole. Have thou perceived the breadth of the earth? Declare if thou knowest it. Where is the way where the light dwelleth? The enlightened ones. And as for the darkness, where is the place thereof? That's the shadowlands, and that is this valley of the shadow of death. It's where the enlightened ones are having to stay. They're having to be concealed in darkness. That thou shouldest take it to thou bound thereof. Remember, they're bound. They're at the bound. And that thou shouldest know the paths to the house thereof, where they are. He goes, knowest thou it because thou wast born then? Are you from those ancient times? Do you have that great age to know when all this happened, when they went into this place? Hast thou entered into the treasures of the snow? That's their technology that's being kept under the treasures of the snow. I'll be back.